Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Life According to Cree, the podcast. As always, I am your host, Cree Cole, and you are now tuned in to the Sunday LYF Check. Now, as you all know, the Sunday LYF Check is where we come to pause, reflect, and then tell the truth about the things life is showing us, right? Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. So let me tell you how this week in Life According to Cree is going to work, okay? We're going to have the episode. We're going to talk about this topic. I'll get to this topic in just a second. We are going, Sunday is the day where we get set for the next week. Y'all know that. I know that. I'm not tripping. But for the subscribers, what I'm going to need for you to do, go through the steps for in the challenge for this week. And I will be tuning in with you each day with a short video on all social media platforms for you to follow, comment. We can do our normal 1-2-1-2 and get things done. Like I said, those are that say, and for those of you who are not subscribed to my website, the Life According to Cree, LYF Check, and Empower 365 challenges are located on the actual site under the Empower 365 and Life and Self Care Center tabs. Okay, you don't have to be a subscriber in order to see the challenges. In order to be say what being a subscriber means is that you actually have access to the downloadable workbooks for those 30-day challenges. And they do have additional details. There's a completely downloadable, they're fillable. So if you want to, go check that out. Now today's episode is gonna be a little emotional for me. Not necessarily sad emotional, so you ain't got to get your tissues out. I mean, I don't know what your levels are, okay? I don't know what your levels are. But today is Father's Day. Today is June 21st, 2026. And on today, I'm going to celebrate my daddy a little bit. Because anybody who knows me knows how much I love my dad. I love my mom. I love my mom. But they know that my daddy is not only my twin, but that's the homie. Now I know y'all probably saying this, girl, don't nobody know who your daddy is. We ain't said nothing about that. So I'm gonna kick this by letting y'all know a little bit about my daddy. Yeah, a little bit of my daddy's history. Robin Coleman was born and raised in Louisville, Mississippi. Louisville, Mississippi. Now I could say Louisville, I could say Louisville, but let me tell you something. The only place I ever heard my daddy hometown called was Louisville, Mississippi. It's about an hour from Jackson. My dad grew up in the country. He lived in the city of Louisville. He was an athlete. He is son number 4 of 5 because my grandmama had Alice Ruth Coleman had 5 boys. Um, so he the knee baby. If you're from the South, you know what the knee baby is. He was an athlete throughout, say, in the city leagues and throughout high school. He played baseball and both basketball. When he graduated high school, he joined the military. The following year, he met my mom. The following year, they got married. Then they had me. Then a couple years later, they had my sister. And that brings, I mean, that's all the history that y'all really need. Y'all really don't need to know no more of my daily business like that, okay? Okay. Now, I'm not about to give y'all some romanticized, stories about my daddy and my mama and all that stuff and how he was such a great dad. I'm gonna give y'all factual ones. I'm gonna give y'all factual ones. This is not a drama filled episode, baby. You're not gonna get no tears about how my daddy wasn't there. Because let me tell you something. Robert Bernard Coleman, mm-hmm, Robert Bernard Coleman has always been a stepper. He's always been a stepper for me, my sister, and that lady that he married. From the time that I started school, right? My daddy was involved in every single thing that I did. Like my mama was not assigned a solo project as far as raising, spending time with, and exposing me and my sister to different things. That just wasn't what it was. My daddy still remained an athlete. Once he joined the United States military, he was in the Navy. So we grew up, my sister and I grew up moving from Navy base to Navy base. Air Force Base to Air Force Base, because a lot of the bases I realized were like Air Force, like maybe Air Force Base, whatever the case may be. Y'all know how that go. I wasn't in the military, okay? Well, I was kind of sort of, but not really. Y'all get it. So from the time I started school, my father was always involved. When I started school actually at Selfridge Air National Guard Base, located in Mount Clemens, Michigan. They had an elementary school actually located on the base. Now, the cool part about that was, since my daddy was in the military, when we had field trips, my daddy used to be the bus driver. He was actually allowed to participate, be a chaperone, and be the bus driver for some of the trips. So I actually got to go on field trips with my dad while my mom was able to go to work. And didn't nobody have to take out, like, he didn't have to take on the work. It was just a part of his actual duty, right? The first sport that I ever played was soccer. I started playing soccer at the age of 7 in second grade. And of course, my daddy was one of the coaches. Okay. Of course, my daddy was one of the coaches. My dad also, with the military lifestyle and living on base, um, the people that he served with, the people that were in his squadron, because he was an aviation mechanic, the people that were in his squadron, they were like a community within the community, right? Like each one of the different squadrons were like a clique, a crew per se. So they did a lot of things together. They did intramural sports together. They did holidays together. They did cookouts together. So my friend group growing up were the other kids of the other men that were in the Navy. So we were so intertwined. I spent nights with my, say, Aunt Tilly and Uncle Gene and Lil Gene. All of my friends, for whatever reason, ever since I was a little girl, all of my friends were boys. All of my friends were boys. During that time, I had four friends that were my age: Gene, Josh, Zach, and Cal. I bet y'all can tell who was black and who was white. Calvin was, and Calvin was a little chunky dude. I wonder what Calvin doing with himself. His name was Calvin A.G. I can look that up on social media. Let's see if I can find him. Look, get focused. And my dad was cool with all of those parents. So, like I said, holidays, birthdays, all of that. We were the people that were around each other for that portion of time where we were in fact stationed in at Selfridge. So my dad was highly involved. I played soccer, and I remember, because I'm gonna share some memories. I was not really good at soccer. I understood the concept. I was on the team. I was having fun, but like I never had the ball long enough in order to score a goal. Like it is starting to be like I want to score a goal. And I think that my daddy knew I really wasn't that good at that. But you do what you do with your kids. And I remember, because I was into a lot of things, right? I was into sports, I was into music, things like that. So I wanted a keyboard. I wanted a keyboard. I had told my dad I wanted a keyboard for Christmas. And as you all know, if you know anything about soccer, soccer is a fall sport. So I told my dad that I wanted a keyboard for Christmas. It was just me and my sister. My sister was like little kid. I'm like 7, 8 years old. Yeah, I started. Yeah, Christmas in July, damn it. And I remember so they knew I wanted the keyboard. And I remember my dad telling me that if I scored a goal during the next soccer game, he would go and get me a keyboard. Like I said, I was not good. I was not good at playing soccer. But lo and behold, game day comes and I scored a goal. Same week he told me, scored the goal. Because he had even reminded me that day. He was like, hey, remember, you scored a goal today, then you can get your keyboard. Added motivation. That's all I needed. Because I don't even have to wait until Christmas. I can get it now. In my head, in my elementary school head, that meant I could get it now. I did my big one. I got to go. I was so excited about getting the keyboard by scoring the goal. I literally scored the goal, heart dropped his stomach, ran down the sideline to my daddy. It was like, oh, I gotta get my keyboard. Game still going. I cared nothing about that. I was ready to go. I was ready to go. And you know what my daddy did? You know what my daddy did? When we left the soccer field, it was dark. It was dark. We rode to Circuit City. A lot of y'all don't even know what Circuit City is. It's like, and you may not know what Circuit City is because of the region of the country you're in or whatever. Nonetheless, we rode to Circuit City, and my daddy let me pick out a keyboard. And this is before cell phones, so it's not like he could call my mom while my mom was at work and be like, "Hey, Crystal's going to go, so we're gonna go run and go get her keyboard." No, 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 no. That wasn't possible. It was impossible. Cell phones weren't out yet. He drove me straight in there, let me pick out my keyboard. Took my keyboard home. We set up my keyboard, and I had me a keyboard. And I actually, by Christmas, I had self-taught because I didn't ask for no lessons with this keyboard. I was just gonna learn how to play the keyboard. And I tell you, I was little. I was like 7, 8 years old. I'm gonna teach myself how to play the keyboard. I had actually self-taught myself by singing songs that I knew out loud to myself. I had self-taught myself how to how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb by Christmas. Mary Had a Little Lamb, and how to play Joy to the World. Self-taught. So by the time that Christmas came, I remember that year we celebrated Christmas at my aunt T. Kathleen's house because yeah, my dad was stationed at the base there in Mount Clemens, but also because that's where he met my mom. Because he had been stationed there. That was his first duty station. He met my mom there. They got married, had me. Then he got stationed in Millington, Tennessee. And by this time, we had moved back. He got stationed in Michigan again. The reason why he met my mom there is because one half of my mom's family, where my mom, my grandmother, and 3 of her sisters all lived in Mount Clemens. They had migrated from South Carolina to New York, then to Michigan, to Mount Clemens or Clinton Township. So it's Clinton Township now. So that's how we ended up back there. So we had family there actually in the city. So like I said, by that December I had self and I remember my auntie Kathleen was one of my favorite, like my favorite aunts. And also one of my biggest fans because I was like the first girl born. Um well, I was the third girl born in the generation, but I was the most seen. I'll say that. I don't want no smoke. Because I got 2 older cousins that are girls. But I was everybody baby. I was everybody baby. So do with that what you will. But and I remember playing Joy to the World during Christmas on that keyboard. It's one of my greatest memories. That's one of my first like big memories of my dad, like being like he's daddy. Like my daddy is awesome. Also during that time, all the kids in the neighborhood had gotten like big bikes. Back then, getting a 10 speed bike was like a really really big thing. Like for the kids that were like third, fourth grade or whatever. Everybody else said done got a bigger bike. I had the bike like the bigger version of the bike that you take the training wheels off. And I remember one afternoon, I was outside with my friends, Zach, Josh, Gene, Calvin. All of them, they were boys. So they had all had already gotten bigger bikes. And we were riding bikes together, and they kept leaving me. They kept fucking leaving me. And so that hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings. And I went home, with mom and dad, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I can't ride bikes. They keep leaving me." The way my mom and dad is set up, what you ain't gonna do is pick it. You ain't gonna pick. You gotta leave the kids. You not gonna pick up my child. My mom and dad put me and my sister in the car. We rode to Kmart, got me a red 10-speed bike. It was red, it was cherry red with the black handles, like with the curved handles. It wasn't even no mountain bike with the curved handles, because that wasn't popular yet, okay? With the curved handles. Got the bike to the house. My daddy immediately put the bike together. It was almost dark. I got pictures. I might be able to come up with some pictures and post it. My dad goes through puts the bike together. Now, mind you, my bike that I had before that still had training wheels on, which was another reason why I could not keep up. But he put the bike together. We lived the military housing was like apartments. So like you would have your building, and like in front of our building was this round sidewalk. So he took me out there, took me around the sidewalk a little bit. I see if I could ride, because I couldn't ride a two-wheeler. We did that like the night before, the night after he put the bike together. I had not got it yet, but I had some cute pics, right, of me at the bike, posing on the bike. Because some of y'all was talking about the way I take pictures and stuff all the time. Let me tell you something. I was raised with a camera in my face, raised with one Polaroid to jump it off. Polaroid camera. Um, but yeah. So and then the next day we were gonna be at my grandmother's house. My grandmother lived in projects that were right outside of the base, like 5 minute ride outside the base, called the Colchester. Because we were going to be over there all day, my dad bought that bike to the Colchesters, and the Colchester sound exactly what the Colchester sound like. It was really that. Like when my grandma used to walk down the sidewalk, like the YNs of the time used to have to step. We used to step off the side because my family out there that was in the city was really about that. So, but he took my bike out there, and the parking lot was terrible, potholes. The parking lot was big. It was projects. It was projects. I learned how to ride that red 10-speed bike in the projects in the parking lot beside my grandma's apartment building. And after I learned, we took the bike back out there, and the rest was history, baby. I was in there. I remember not long after that, I fell. I fell off of the bike, landed on that bar in the middle, slid, skint my arm from here to here. Never fully healed. Like I could still see, like it was a permanent bruise. Permanent bruise. Skip my arm up from here to here. Yep. Yep. Little peroxide, little Vaseline, some bandages. Built for a tough baby my whole life. My whole life. Did not stop me from riding my 10 speed. Did not. And the thing about it was, with the way that my parents like worked their schedule, because my dad was in the military, he had a day schedule. My mother had a night schedule. She worked out in the city. So all the afternoons, me and my sister would be with my dad. If my dad had a basketball game, because like I said, they play intramural sports, their own base. If he had a softball game, basketball game, it was a picnic. Whatever was going on, if there was something that they were doing for kids, trick or treating, any of that, my dad was the one that did it. Because my mama was at work. Like they worked it out to work their schedule where someone would always be available for us at all times. So my dad was that dad. Like long before there were quote unquote girl dads, there was Robin Coleman. Okay. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. Middle school. By middle school, I am playing basketball. I want to play basketball. 6th grade, I want to play basketball. We were now living in Jacksonville, Florida at NAS Jags. Um, Let me tell you something. That was probably, for me, the best duty station my daddy ever had. That's when I was like going through puberty. I had older teenage friends. We were in Florida, so there were so many things to do. And I was at an age to do a lot of things. Florida, has Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, all that, and so many other parks that aren't even hyped the same, but so many other parks. So that during that time when we were stationed there, top tier, top tier. My mom and dad still moved the exact same way because that's the way their life was set up. My mother worked evenings. My dad, because he worked on base, worked during the day. So a lot of time in the evenings. Now for a little while, my mom didn't work when we moved to Jacksonville. She did not work at all. By that time in their lives, I guess, because I don't know, because I wasn't exposed to grown people business. I never had to worry about where no money was coming from and whether or not I was gonna be able to get something or not. Me and my sister didn't have no struggles. So I guess by that time they had it figured out to where my mom could be home and my dad was like the breadwinner. Like my mom would go get jobs like when she wanted to buy something like a big purchase. Like my mom would literally go get a job, working for like 5 6 months, stack up her money, and then quit. Military wife shit, I guess, for back in the 90s. But by then we're living in Jacksonville. I want to be a basketball player. I tell my daddy I want to play basketball. My dad, my dad decides he is going to show me how to play basketball. Not on anybody's basketball court, not at anybody's gym, in our backyard, because with us being in military housing, we live in military housing in with us being on military housing, like you had your back porch and there was like a storage shed that was on the back porch and it was all cemented in. It had like a little clothesline thing, but it was like closed in like a portion of the way. You could get out both sides, but it had like a closures, I guess, like if you had a picnic or whatever, cookout, then you were in your own little space. And then we lived on a corner, so we had yard that stretched all the way around the house. My dad literally showed me how to post up on the back on the back porch on the back patio. He showed me how to position my feet, how to move my feet, how to square up my body, and all that. Like I got some pictures of that too. I'm gonna have to go before I post this. I'm gonna have to go through the picture box and find some of the pictures so that I can put some, historical references up. Of my dad being my dad, right? With my sister right there is so like because like my dad was a disciplinarian because I can tell you all the things that people, all the effervescent things that people love about me are personality traits that came from my dad. All the things that people love about me as far as nurturing others and things like that. Those things actually came from my mama, even though people like to make it seem like my mama's mean. My mama's stern, my mother's consistent. What she ain't is mean. Sensitive as can be. Got all the feelings in the world. If you know, you know. So, but my dad actually taught me how to post up, how to box out, and all of that in on the back patio of our military housing. And then I had friends who were older who actually played basketball. So I took those things that my daddy showed me and then the things that my friends showed me, tried out for the 6th grade basketball team, made the basketball team. Played basketball 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at my middle school. Well enough to where I actually won the MVP trophy for my team at Jeb Stewart Middle School my 8th grade year. But we're gonna go back a little bit so I can tell you a story about my daddy. So, I'm in 8th grade. I play basketball. My dad's coming to my games. Because why wouldn't he come to my games, right? Dad's coming to my games. So I played center. I played the five. in middle school. I was a tall girl. I was probably 5'7", 5'8", this height by eighth grade. I don't think I haven't grown since eighth grade. So of course I was a center. Y'all know what girls basketball, especially back then. Big black girl, you put her in the middle. Um, so we're at the game, and my dad is very active and vocal when it comes to sports. My dad is a sports historian, a sports aficionado. He loves all sports. Okay, all of them. Except for that pickleball shit. Some of that was on ESPN like 3 1 time. He's like, what the fuck is that? None of this. Let me go back. So he loved, but he's especially the sports that he played. He has a immense love for. So and he knows the rules. He's not just a fan. He knows the rules. So there was a side out play, and there was a side out play after an actual dead ball, and my coach had called a timeout to set up a play for our possession. And in this play, the way that it was going to start out, I had to run the sideline. So when the referee gave me the ball, blew the whistle, I went to go run, and the guard was running with me, to go run so I could inbound the ball to her. Illegal. Okay, so of course the referee is wrong. My dad loses his shit. Now, by this point in the season, after playing for 2 years, I know exactly what type of time my daddy be on. Because like I said, my daddy took us to all of his extracurricular activities as well. With him being in the military, which means his basketball games, his softball games. I grew up watching my daddy cuss people the out. My dad ain't never been no little man. My dad ain't never no. He's a big man. He has a very strong voice. That's another thing that I got. I got like the strength of my voice compared with the tone of my mother's is what you are hearing now. Let me tell you something. I watched my daddy cuss many of them out behind sports. Many of them. Hmm. My my dad's temper, my temper, also from my dad. My desire to go to people's ass, also from my daddy, right? And my daddy was that nigga for a very long time. I really don't think that my dad stopped being willing to choke somebody out until maybe like around 2015. Since he turned over a new leaf. Maybe about 2015, 2016. 2016 might have been the late. But I watched my daddy like cuss referees out, cuss umpires out, cuss other teams out, show his ass, tell people he will go to their ass and mean that shit. Like I saw all of that as a kid, right? And the reason why I think it was never scary is because my daddy stood 10 toes down on whatever the fuck he said. If he said that shit, you guarantee that's what the fuck was coming next. But nonetheless, let me go back. So my dad starts losing his shit. We end up winning the game just barely. But my dad is bothered. You hear me? Bothered by that call. So, we didn't go in like a locker room or anything. Like we just gathered up our stuff. We were allowed to just leave. My dad waits for me to get all my stuff, talk to my coach, our coach talked to us and all that. And then we're leaving out of the gym to go walk to the parking lot. And who's in the parking lot? Who's walking to the parking lot also? That referee. That referee. I won't say what my daddy said to that referee, right? I won't say what my daddy said to that referee. No, I will. He was like, you don't know the motherfucking rules. You don't know the motherfucking rules. You shouldn't be being the damn ref. What my daddy walked that man down and cussed that man the fuck out. And because I had grew up with my daddy cussing people the fuck out, I did not stay there to say a witness. I just kept walking. I just kept walking. I just kept walking. Like I walked all the way to the other side and just stood there and let it finish. They were cussing each other out. And my daddy was walking toward me, and then you told me, I would be so you motherfucker, you lucky I'm with my daughter. Because him being with me was not gonna stop you from getting the cuss out. And people will probably hear that story and be like, oh my God, you're dead. Yes. Let me tell you something about my dad. Tell you something about my dad. My dad is so thorough when it comes to me. And my sister, I became a coach, a middle school head coach, and a high school assistant coach in 2010. My daddy showed up to those games as if I was on the floor. Those kids that I rolled for and I loved, my daddy loved them just the same. My daddy was at the games doing the same thing on behalf of other people's kids because those kids were kids that belonged to me. Tell you, my daddy really that different. My daddy really that different. Let me see what's another because I'm coming straight off the dome with this. I'm coming straight off the dome. Um, Another great memory of my dad during that time, as I got a little bit older and we were in Jacksonville, like I said, it was a melting pot for different cultural entertainment type stuff in Jacksonville. Anywhere that I wanted to go with my friends or that my friends heard about, because all of my friends were a year to 3 years older than me, right? None of my friends were my age. That lived on base with me. All of them were a year to 2 years older than me. Anywhere that they heard about where something was going on, like a concert, a festival, the mall, skate ring, whatever the case may be, my dad was the one that took us. My dad was the one that took us. Shouts out to my childhood friend Erica Outing Burton. Ah, didn't have to look it up. Um, Tell this story. So we I can't remember what the name of the festival was, but it was actually located in the city of Jacksonville. So and it had the groups this and that. I can't remember the name of the other group, but it was the one that sung Whoop There It Is. Not Hoop There It Is, but Whoop There It Is. Whoop There It Is. I thought you knew. Whoop There It Is. And y'all probably don't know who this and that is. They might have been real popular to the local area. I can't remember. And then, but the headliner for this was Immature. Yes, Immature. And y'all can say what y'all want to say about Marcus Houston, Redman, and I can't remember what the other baby name was. But y'all say what y'all want to say. At that time, when I was 13, 14 years old, Immature was everything, okay? Y'all got to think about this. This was like 92, 93, okay? So my dad says that he will take me, my friend Erica, and my friend Trisha to this event. This is a block party in the city style event. And of course, my little sister was with us. She was 4 years younger, so she was on daddy hip. She wasn't on my hip, she was on daddy hip. I told y'all, like in a couple of videos, my mom and dad never made me solely responsible for my sister's care. And they shouldn't have. Cause why? Cause why? But so we go down there to the festival. Me, my friend Trisha, and my friend Erica decide that we are going to dress like all of us have white skirts, right? All of us have white skirts. So we all put on white skirts, white jean skirts, and white t-shirts. We're going in all white. I definitely have a picture of that. Oh my goodness, 30. So that's what we're wearing. And at that time, I was really big into wearing like whatever color I had on. I would put on that color bandana. I don't know what I was going through, but hey. So my dad takes us to this with our white skirts and our white t-shirts. And it comes time, it's hot, it's fucking Florida. So it is hot as hell. My dad lets us know that he's gonna stay a little further back toward the back of the crowd with my little sister, but says it's okay for us to go up closer to the front. So that is what we do. So we're in the crowd, we're trying to stay together, We get separated for like a little bit. We come back together, and then my friend Erica passes out. Now, I'll be honest with y'all, because a lot of people had already been passing out. I don't know still to this day whether or not she actually passed out. But in that moment, my friend Erica passed out. And when she passed out, the security lifted her up. Immature was on stage. No, they weren't on stage yet. They actually weren't on stage yet. Lifted her up onto the stage while the other act was performing to escort her away to a medical, like, little thing, camper. Me and Trisha lose our shit. Oh my God, they're taking Erica, they're taking Erica, they're taking Erica. We make the executive decision, 13, 14 years old, to not go tell my dad immediately. We're trying to find out where she is. But my dad spots that looks like Erica that's being lifted over the stage. So he eventually makes his way to us because this is a shoulder to shoulder, ass to ass, back to ass, all the things crowd. Um, finally get to her. We finally find out where she's at. They release her back to us. And now it's time to go, of course, right? It's time to go. Like, my dad's like, oh, okay, we out. We're on the car ride back. Erica lets us know that she took a picture with Immature. And back in those days, because we did not have cell phones, you either had an actual camera that you put a film in or a disposable camera. She's like, I got this with Immature. I got this with Immature. Yeah, you had to go take those pictures to like the drugstore or something like that. They would develop the pictures. You come back in a couple of days, pick up your pictures. You could pay extra to get them back the next day or within an hour, stuff like that. We all go to go take our pictures up there. We get the pictures back, and she, in fact, had a picture with Immature. Gag still. I'm still listen. Spectacular. Like, but my dad was that dad. My dad was that dad. My dad was, like I said, he was a girl dad before girl dads became popular, before it became a term. Anything that my sister and I wanted to do, my dad and my mom were going to make sure that we did. If we wanted something and it made sense for our age, we were going to have it. But let me go back to me saying I got the MVP for basketball. So I got the MVP. It was actually the first time I cut school also. I get home, I cut school last day of school, last day of 8th grade. Like I said, my friends are older. So all my friends are in high school. I'm the only one in middle school. And they talked me into cutting school. And my 8th grade boyfriend, he cut school too. So I have a wonderful day of doing every fucking thing I had absolutely no business doing. But we had a plan. I would always walk down to the other bus stop to get off anyway and walk home. So when I walked from where I was to go home, it was not going to be anything strange that I was coming from that direction saying I was getting out of school. I come in the house, they ask me how my last day of school was. Mama, they asked me. I tell them that it was wonderful, da 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 da. I am ripped apart immediately because one of my school friends that I did not hang out with in the fucking neighborhood decided to bring my MVP trophy home. To bring my fucking MVP trophy home for me. She wasn't wrong, but you know what I'm saying? I'm still a little salty. She wasn't wrong, but I'm salty. I ended up being on punishment the entire month. First month of summer break for cutting school. The saving grace of me being put on punishment for that long amount of time was the fact that because my dad was my dad, and my dad is my buddy, I'm my dad's little buddy. He's a little bestie boo. He allowed for my friends, who were actually, like I said, all of them older than me, to come to my house every single day. I was allowed to open up my window, and my friends came and hung out in my motherfucking yard. There was nothing else going on by my yard. Nothing. Like I said, I had a big yard. Nothing else going on in my yard other than me sitting my ass in that motherfucking window. My friends came, they would go to the basketball court. They would come to my house, hang out in the yard, go to the bed, be like, okay, Crystal, we're gonna be back. We're gonna go shoot some ball real quick and then we're gonna come back. My friends would literally come back and hang out outside my motherfucking window till it got dark, till it was time for their asses to go home. And then finally my daddy just let me out punishment. But I served that month though. And I think that might be one of the reasons why I have such issues, even as an adult, with friendship. Because I was exposed to a level of friendship from that friend group at such a young age. Anything that doesn't resemble that, even as an adult woman, doesn't resemble that level of loyalty, I don't want it. I don't want it. And I think that my dad also left me off punishment because he saw how loyal my friend group was. Like for me to be the youngest and for them to still, kick it with me and look out for me, like and come and see me once they found out that they could come and like chill, even if it was outside of my window in my backyard. Like big shit. Big shit. I mentioned earlier that even with me becoming a high school basketball coach and assistant and then a head, my father was completely supportive as if I was out there in uniform. My dad came to every basketball game that I coached. Every single one. Every single one. Um with the same energy that he had watching me play as a kid. The same amount of attention, the same level of encouragement he gave to kids that went to the school and played ball on those teams. He wasn't exposed to all the kids, but definitely the girls and the boys who played during the duration of time that I was coaching. To where like my dad, like when I say that he's an awesome dad, but my dad is unk. And not because he used to sell dope, not because he used to hustle, not because not because he's a killer or he beat up somebody. My dad is unk in a place that he didn't even grow up in. My parents didn't move down here until 1999, the year that I graduated high school. I moved down here before they moved down here. Those are the relationships and the influence that he's had over the past 25, 26 years here in this community, in this city, in this town, that in neighboring town that we live in. He's to so many people. He's loved by so many. He's been a father figure to not only me and my sister, but to my cousins. They have dads. Don't listen, I get it twisted. They have daddies of their own. But my dad was seen as respected and is still respected as a father figure to my cousins. Matter of fact, he the last one kicking, you know, like he's a father figure to them, to some of my more distant cousins, because of the amount of time and attention that he put into them while they were growing up. And not something that he had to do. Like they're like his in-laws, nieces and nephews all love him and revere him with that type of status and with that type of love. His phone's been going off all morning. His phone been going off all morning. With people texting him, phone calls coming in from people. He ain't got but 2 kids, but that phone been jumping. That phone been jumping. And I love that. I love that for my dad. And one thing that I can say is that no matter how old I've been, where we live, no matter the ages of the people that he met, worked with, shared spaces with, it has always been love and respect. I've never known anyone to legitimately not be able to stand my daddy. Never. Right hand to God. And I've had my mom and my daddy my whole life. They ain't never been broke up here. They ain't never lived at different addresses. There was never no uncle so and so that my mom was going with, or no auntie so and so that my daddy was going with. It ain't never been that. So like to see that there are other people who have been able to experience the love and the light that my dad shares without even trying. Like it's really everything that my dad has always put out into the world has been authentically him. And I think that's why I don't give a fuck who it is. And don't get it twisted. I'm like this about my mama too. But no matter who it is, you come for my daddy, I'm coming for that ass. Man, woman, child, motherfucking beast. Because my dad is the type of man who lives firmly in reality, stands 10 toes down on what he believes, and he gives people so much latitude and longitude to be better, to do better. When my daddy loves a person or even just respects a person, he's going to show up 10 toes down. I got to come back. Wait a minute. I'm back. I'm back. And I would say that I just wanted to give my dad flowers, but I give my daddy flowers all the time. There's never been a point when I've been like, man, fuck that nigga. He don't know what he's talking about, man. I've never had that. And I wish that there were more people who experienced, even if it wasn't from their own father, from any man, the type of love and respect and care that my father has had with me and my sister. Like I definitely don't need Father's Day. Like Father's Day gave me an excuse to put it on camera and to like talk about it in this form. But I definitely don't need a camera to talk about how much I love my daddy and how much I know my daddy loved me and my sister and my mom and my baby. Because even as a granddad, my dad's two grandsons, my son is 25, my nephew who will be 4 months at the end of this month. The level of pride, the pride that I see in his eyes, saw in his eyes when I had my son, and I see with my sister's son. I pray that every woman gets to experience a man in their life that is that quality of you. Like my dad's just not a good dad. My dad is a good fucking person. And I love it. Okay, I'm going. Okay, okay. But like Money Long, I can go on and on and on for hours and hours and hours about my daddy. So, and I don't want to do that. I want to go for hours. I didn't want to make this no more than an hour. So, shouts out to all the active, involved, invested fathers out there that may not see this video. Um, shouts out if you know a dad, if you know that, if you heard my story about my daddy and you know a dad that gives that energy, happy birthday, send it soon. Happy birthday, shit. Happy Father's Day. Send this to that man. Send this to that man. You can click me up and you can say Happy Father's Day if you know a man like the man that I just described, Mr. Robert Coleman. And remember to love on one another. Let people know that you love them. Be there for them. Reciprocate. You may not be able to do the exact things that person, whether it's your father, your mother, a friend, or whoever, you may not be able to do the exact same thing that person did for you or show up in the exact same way, but reciprocate the love. Reciprocate the amount of love that it took for that person to be that person for you. That's my final thought for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Like I said, share this with a dad that you feel like needs to hear this. And I ain't gonna lie, you can share it with a daddy that you think need to fucking hear this. Because good men do exist. Good men exist. Good men raise good people. And I feel so blessed. See y'all on Tuesday night for Chris Said What. And I promise y'all I ain't gonna cry. Peace and love. Bye.